Hey everyone, welcome. So today we are diving into something that I think is genuinely exciting, and maybe a little bit challenging, for anyone working in libraries right now. The title is The AI Native Library, From Information Gatekeepers to Trust Architects. That shift, from gatekeeper to trust architect, is really the heart of everything we are going to explore today. Libraries have always been about connecting people with knowledge. But the nature of that knowledge, and the tools we use to find it, are changing at a pace we've never seen before. AI is not just a new search tool. It's reshaping the entire information landscape. So whether you are a practicing librarian, a library educator, a student, or just someone passionate about the future of knowledge, this one is for you. Let's get into it. We are living in a moment where information is exploding. AI can generate text, citations, summaries, and reports faster than any human ever could. And yet, trust in that information is actually going down. That's what the slide calls the trust paradox. Here's a real-world example that makes this very concrete. A researcher submitted a bibliography of 15 perfectly formatted references, looked completely professional. But when a librarian checked, 11 of those 15 papers did not exist. They were hallucinated by an AI. And the kicker? An AI detector didn't catch it. A librarian did. That gap between the speed of information generation and the inherent verifiability of that information, that's exactly where the librarian's value lies today. Someone has to stand in that gap. And increasingly, that someone is you. Let's look at how the profession is evolving to meet that challenge. In the past, the role focus was the information gatekeeper. You controlled access, you managed the catalog, you ran the searches. In the present, the role is AI supervisor and trust architect. That's a pretty significant upgrade. Discovery skills have shifted from keyword searching and Boolean expertise to prompt engineering and context design. Metadata work has moved from manual cataloging to metadata strategy and validation. You are no longer just entering data, you are governing it. And collection strategy has gone from reactive management to predictive AI evaluation. Technology automates the repetitive tasks. It does not replace the human judgment, context, and empathy that define librarianship. That is the foundation everything else is built on. Next, let's look at how this maps out across the whole library. Think of the AI native library as having 4 distinct zones, each one powered by different AI capabilities. Zone 1 is discovery, the front end, where semantic search interfaces and natural language query resolution replace the old keyword box. Yale University, for instance, is already testing intent-based search. Zone 2 is reference, the user support layer. Think 24/7 chatbots trained exclusively on trusted library databases, not the open internet. The University of Calgary is a great example of this. Zone 3 is operations, the back end, automated metadata generation and OCR digitization for special collections and archives. And Zone 4 is collections strategy, predictive analytics tools that inform continuous, data-driven acquisition and weeding based on real-time circulation trends. What's beautiful about this model is that every zone still has a human librarian at the center, making decisions. The AI does the heavy lifting, the librarian provides the judgment. Coming up, let's zoom into Zone 1, smarter discovery. Let's talk about the difference between how we used to search and how we search now. Traditional keyword search works by exact string matching. You type specific words, the system looks for those exact words. The limitation? It misses valuable resources whenever there's a terminology gap. If you don't know the right vocabulary, you don't find the resource. Semantic search and retrieval augmented generation, RAG, completely change this. Instead of matching strings, the system understands intent. So if a researcher types climate change, but the best papers use the term rainfall variability, the system makes that conceptual connection automatically. And crucially, RAG grounds the answers strictly in verified library databases, which means it dramatically reduces the risk of hallucinations. The AI isn't guessing, it's retrieving from trusted sources and generating answers based only on what it actually finds. That's a game changer for reference services. Let's see how this pairs with cataloging. Here's one of my favorite parts of the whole AI native library framework, the human-in-the-loop cataloging engine. It's a 4-step workflow that's genuinely elegant. Step 1. Ingestion. Raw book images or publisher data are captured. Step 2. AI generation. Custom GPTs or agents generate draft Mark 21 fields and Dublin Core metadata automatically. Step 3, and this is the key one, is the human validation gate. The librarian reviews, refines, and validates the AI draft. Now, AI gets this right about 85 to 95% of the time, but that remaining percentage requires human accountability. You cannot just trust the machine blindly. Step 4 is integration. The finalized, clean records go into the Koha or DSpace integrated library system. The result? Libraries using AI-assisted tools are reporting 40 to 60% faster cataloging workflows. Staff focus shifts from manual data entry to metadata strategy. That is a meaningful productivity gain. Next up, the research workflow. This slide shows a beautiful 8-step circular research workflow where AI copilots and human verifiers work together at every stage. Starting at the top, step 1 is finding the gap, using tools like Perplexity or Consensus to scan existing literature. Step 2 is framing the hypothesis, where Claude helps generate testable structures. Step 3 is reviewing the literature, illicit and research rabbit map citation networks. Step 4 is preparing data. ChatGPT helps clean and standardize datasets. Step 5 is analysis. Julius AI runs statistical tests. Step 6 is comparison. SciSpace positions your findings against prior studies. Step 7 is writing. Johnny AI and Grammarly help draft structured academic text. And step 8 is selecting the right journal. Elsevier Journal Finder ensures credibility and fit. Notice something? The AI handles the mechanical and the computational. The human verifier appears at every major decision point. Librarians are perfectly positioned to train researchers in this workflow. On that note, let's talk about the toolkit itself. So if you are thinking, okay, I want to start using AI tools in my library or research practice, where do I even begin? This matrix is your cheat sheet. It's organized by task phase on one axis and AI capability on the other. For discovery and mapping, Perplexity gives you factual search with citations, Connected Papers gives you visual paper networks, and Consensus synthesizes answers directly from peer-reviewed literature. For extraction and analysis, Julius AI handles conversational data analysis, ChatPDF or AskYoptf let you query uploaded reports, and Illicit builds evidence tables from papers. For writing and curation, Claude is excellent for academic structuring and tone, NotebookLM lets you query your own private documents securely, and DeepL handles multilingual pattern support. Think of this matrix as a menu. You don't need all of these at once. Pick the right tool for the right task. Next, a critical warning about AI risks. Okay, this one is really important, and I'd argue every librarian, educator, and researcher needs to understand it deeply. It's called the fluency trap. Here's the problem. We naturally trust information that is clear, well-written, and well-structured. And AI is extraordinarily good at fluency. It produces text that sounds authoritative and professional. But large language models are, at their core, probabilistic confabulators, not databases. They choose words that sound correct, even when the underlying fact is invented. The slide shows the danger zone: high output fluency, low factual accuracy. That's where hallucinations live. There's a real case study right here in India. The Supreme Court flagged a growing trend of lawyers citing non-existent case laws generated by AI. The system prioritized sounding right over being right. The lesson for librarians: fluent does not mean factual. Your critical evaluation skills are not just relevant in the AI age, they are essential. That brings us to the verification protocol. Let's tackle a really common misconception, especially in academic settings. Many educators believe that AI detection tools provide definitive proof of cheating. The scientific reality is quite different. These tools rely on probabilistic pattern matching, specifically, measures called perplexity and burstiness. They cannot reliably prove authorship. Even more concerning, studies show that AI detectors are heavily biased against non-native English writers, generating high false positive rates. That's a serious equity problem. And UNESCO itself warns against using AI detectors for high-stakes decisions like grading or disciplinary action. The takeaway from this slide is blunt but important: AI detection tools lack scientific validity. They are weak signals, not verdicts. Libraries and institutions need to build AI policies that don't rely on these tools as enforcement mechanisms, because they will fail you, and they will fail your students. Let's look at what a proper verification protocol looks like instead. Here's the alternative to AI detection, and honestly, it's a much stronger framework. It's built on 3 pillars, and together they uphold academic integrity in the age of AI. Pillar 1. Verify the source. Cross-check every AI-generated citation against official library catalogs, Scopus, or PubMed. Prove it exists before you use it. Remember those fabricated references we talked about in slide 2? This is how you catch them. Pillar 2. Disclose the tool. Mandate granular transparency, detail the specific tool used, the version, and precisely how it contributed to the work. AI cannot be listed as an author. Pillar 3. Validate the output. Humans bear full responsibility. The researcher must critically review, validate, and correct all AI-assisted outputs to prevent what the slide calls AI drift, where the AI gradually steers the work away from the researcher's original intent. This 3-pillar protocol is something libraries and institutions can actually implement. And librarians are the natural champions of it. Let's talk about prompt engineering next. I love this slide. It draws a direct parallel between the traditional reference interview, which has been a core librarian skill since 1989, and modern AI prompt architecture. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Establishing identity becomes role. You tell the AI to act as a postgraduate academic librarian. Understanding the user becomes context, supporting PhD scholars in education. Defining the need becomes task. Explain AI bias with 2 real examples. Setting boundaries becomes restrictions. Under 200 words, no speculation, simple language. And delivering findings becomes output format, present as a bulleted list. The key insight at the bottom is gold. AI systems do not understand intent, they follow instructions. Constraints reduce hallucinations. And iteration is the real skill. This means everything librarians already know about the reference interview translates directly into prompt engineering capability. You already have this skill. You just need to apply it in a new context. Let's look at ethics next. Any serious discussion of AI in libraries has to include ethics and governance. This radar chart maps out 5 key dimensions that libraries must actively protect. Public good, AI must improve community outcomes, not just increase institutional efficiency. Intellectual freedom, algorithms must not silently suppress, bias, or restrict access to information. That's a core library value, and it applies to AI systems too. Privacy, patron data used to train AI is essentially unpaid labor. Libraries must use secure, private instances that protect sensitive user information. Sustainability, favor smaller, open-source models to lower the environmental and energy impact of AI. And DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, systems must be actively audited to ensure they don't reinforce historical biases or marginalize minority voices. These aren't optional add-ons. They are the ethical foundation of what it means to be a library in the 21st century. Up next, building the institutional AI policy. So how do you actually build an AI policy for your institution? This slide gives you a practical 5-point blueprint. First, define permitted use, explicitly state which AI tools are allowed, how they may be used, ideation versus drafting, for example, and set clear prohibitions. Second, mandate disclosure, require transparent documentation of AI involvement in any submitted work, mirroring scholarly publishing standards. Third, establish human accountability, codify that students and researchers bear ultimate responsibility for any fabricated data or policy violations generated by AI. Fourth, protect sensitive data, restrict the input of confidential or proprietary university data into unapproved, public AI platforms. This is a data governance issue as much as an ethics issue. Fifth, require ethical audits, commit to regular bias testing and fairness audits before deploying any public-facing AI reference services. Librarians are uniquely positioned to lead this policy work. You understand information ethics, user privacy, and institutional accountability better than almost anyone else on campus. Final thought coming up. And we close with what I think is the most important idea in this entire presentation: intent over technology. The slide says it simply: technology does not transform institutions. Intent does. The future library does not compete with artificial intelligence. It helps society understand it, question it critically, and use it responsibly. That is a fundamentally different mission, and a more important one. And here's the line that really stayed with me: the libraries that get AI right will not be the ones that move the fastest. They will be the ones that ask the right questions first. So what are your right questions? What does your community need? What values does your institution stand for? Start there, and let the technology follow your intent. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe, and join the conversation in the AI4Lib WhatsApp community. I'll see you in the next one.